Hello everybody, welcome to what will be a very quick video looking at Mr. Negative. I will be brutally honest, I didn't enjoy this champion very much. And it's not to say that it's a bad champion, it's just with the masteries that I've got, or kind of like road testing with, also versus the extent of the complexity, because that's really the thing. It's like, it's not, maybe being a bit rude to say it's a bad champion, was like I didn't really enjoy it. It's just a case of like, it's complex. The reason for the complexity is the way that you have to get the most amount of your degeneration damage, and that comes from building up light energy first and foremost, and then switching over or doing the counter evade method with holding down for charging up a heavy attack and then throwing into throwing it to then do the SP2. It's kind of like a little bit Colossus-y, a little bit of as well with Beardo, where you've got to do like the parry heavy and then throw your SP2 in order to maximize the extent of that juicy damage from special attacks. Except for I don't like the way that you have to kind of like build up. It's a bit different to what it would be with Beardo or with Colossus. So that's just really kind of like the comparison there with it. It's gonna put it into like, again, more perspective, is that you want to build up your light energy. And light energy, as it says here, when the champion forms a well-timed block, gain 2 light energy. Dashing back removes all buffs on Mr. Negative and grants a light energy. Which, if you're doing like a heavy attack, you are getting a fury buff. And that's good. It's good to get a fury buff. And as well, you have to then remember when to throw it. And that's the other thing as well. It's remembering several different things. Okay, so I need to build up my 10 light energy. Okay, it's cycling out. It's going to end. Okay, so what do I need to do here? I need to go into a hold with a heavy attack in order to then throw my SP2, which first of all does the switch over to being the dark energy, which is then going to help out with the extent of me throwing the amount of damage that I'm going to be doing with that SP2. So it's like there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of things to think of in the way that I'm kind of like, one is kind of like switching between A or B from what they're doing, because that's the other thing as well. Like it's all about that process. As I said, building it to 10 energy. It's then doing that trying to do a few more kind of parry heavies or a few more heavies in order to get fury buff, and then it's a case of going into the counter evade, which is holding down your heavy attack, and then it's a case of like firing off of that SP2 because of what it really does. Which is, and it's difficult to sustain it, and especially build up to that 20, because that's going to be the big thing as well. The 20 is going to be important. So the final hit consumes all remaining dark energy, inflicting 1 additional degeneration for each dark energy consumed. And that's the thing. This is where the complexity lies. Like, there's a lot of things to think about, and I'm sure that people that like complex champions, or at least ones that you have to like, I'd say it's not frustration, but maybe it's more stress. Some stuff that's going to cost you or feel stressful if you're not getting the rotations right. It may mean that this is just like, it's a great champion for that debuff damage, but at the same time, as I said, for me, it's just something I just don't mess around with. It's just not my vibe, and I will be kind of like thinking, right, well, this probably will be a no-go for me from when it comes to like hopefully getting the champion from any kind of 6-star featured type thing. But that doesn't kind of take away from the fact of this champion being good or bad. It is a good champion. It is so much more potent if you've got suicide masteries. That's the main thing to kind of say. If you're looking for a champion that's not too taxing on your recoils and as well kind of rotations, that SP3 at least can like give you something back each time from building up, and can allow this champion to stay alive for a lot longer. I think it just goes to show that this kind of like champion is just one of these ones where it may be not for me, but it may be for other people. If you like the element of the complexity to play, or at least thinking about the extent of, okay, building light energy, and then the second part is like, okay, well, I need to keep up my heavy attack, my heavy offensive, and heavy against the wall if I can. And then the third thing will be like when it's important to switch over to then do your counter heavy, which is quite cool doing that counter heavy, because you're able to do a quick suppression of power gain, which can be very effective, especially if there's situations where you want to just like constantly suppress the likes of Hyperion, for example, and then kind of retire back and then kind of like keep up the offensive with that. So there are some good elements there, especially with having Petrify. So yes, there's some good suppression, there's some good debuff damage, but it's just one of these situations for me personally, and again, it's your perspective will be different. I just didn't feel that I liked that element of complexity to kind of get the the most damage out of this champion, especially if I'm running non-suicide masteries. So yeah, love that SP3 for the people that run suicides, and that's just my take. I think this is a great champion, but it's just not something for me. What do you think? Would it be a champion for you? Put it in the comment section down below. And also don't forget to check out some other content. Also, I'm going to be posting another video in a minute, and there should be a little live stream coming live very, very soon here on YouTube. So I'm going to be back for a little while, so come by and support.